Devannie Singhroy is a beautiful 21-year-old girl. Devanni was born in Queens, New York to parents Indian Ricky Singhroy. She was a joyful young toddler who enjoyed the normal life of a child, who played, walked, and ran. At age 11, she started to experience dislocations and severe pain in her wrists, hands, knees, hips, neck, back, jaw, ankles, and collarbones. Doctors could not figure out what was happening to her, and some even accused her of lying, or having mental health issues, or even being abused by her parents. After 6 years of breaking bones and seeing specialists, she was finally diagnosed with Ehlers Danlos syndrome. EDS is a rare connective tissue disorder. Connective tissue provides support to skin, muscles, joints, and other organs. As May is EDS Awareness Month, Devanni is here on Let's Talk with Lakshmi to share her story of this rare illness that affects 1 out of 10,000 people. This is her story. Please help spread the awareness of EDS. Currently, there is no cure and treatments are very limited. So, Devanni, tell us, what is EDS?
Well, EDS stands for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and it's a connective tissue disorder that's also genetic. Connective tissue is kind of like the glue of your body. It holds everything together. So the gene that's responsible for producing connective tissue in my body is defective. So it primarily affects my ligaments that hold my bones together. They're supposed to be kind of like rubber bands. They stretch and go back into place. Mine are more like taffy, so they don't hold my bones in place.
So in plain terms, I mean, your bones are breaking, they can't hold together, your tissue is falling apart.
The tissue's falling apart. My bones are okay, but it's kind of pretty much what's holding them together is not sturdy. So my bones dislocate a lot. They move out of place.
So, Devanni, I know for several years I've seen you in the community, and I only recently learned about your EDS. And every time I saw you, you were always in crutches. And I felt that, my God, this child is always getting into some sort of an accident. You know, I really thought for many years that you played soccer. So, I mean, was this something, I mean, you mentioned in an article that I read that, you know, people would see you all the time and thought you were getting into accidents. Explain that to us.
Well, yeah, because I didn't really like talking about my illness. I thought people wouldn't really care because it was really rare and nobody knows what it is. People just assumed that I was accident prone. I've had people come up to me like, what sports do you play? Did you get into a skiing accident? And I'd just tell them I have bad joints. I never really went into it too much.
So you're 21 now,
Yep.
right? You were diagnosed at 17, but you had these signs and these ailments for about 11 years?
Yeah.
About 11 years. So you mentioned that not too many people knew about EDS. So tell me, when you would, you know, break your kneecap or, you know, fall down or faint and you were going to the doctor for 11 years, why didn't they know what was going on with you?
The condition is that rare. Even up to today, if I faint and go to the hospital, in the emergency room, the doctors don't know what it is. It's very rare that I find a doctor that knows what it is, so much less another person. So they just didn't think of it.
So Devanni, do you remember your first incident? You were probably like around 11 years old. Do you remember?
Yes.
What happened?
It was the week before winter break in 5th grade, and I was still in class, and I bent down to get a book, and I couldn't get back up because my kneecap had dislocated, and I couldn't get up.
So are these experiences painful?
Oh, extremely painful, because not only does your joint move out of place, it stretches all of the muscle and sometimes tears it and causes a lot of inflammation, and it becomes very unstable for like a few weeks afterward.
So tell me what was happening when you turned 11, and for 6 years now you're constantly breaking a kneecap or, you know, in crutches, and, you know, you're going to the hospital. How often were you in the hospital?
At first, it wasn't that much. The dislocations weren't as frequent. The EDS progressively got worse to a point where I was in the hospital probably a few times a month.
A month?
Yeah. And some times when it was really bad, it would be a couple times a week.
Now, at any point, was maybe the doctors or someone in the medical field thinking that you were being beaten up at home?
One time when I went to the hospital, they made my parents leave, which made me really anxious because I feel like I always need my parents with me, especially in that situation. And they just asked me, they're like, how's everything going at home? And, you know, how's your relationship with your parents? And I assured them that everything was fine because they couldn't explain what was going on with my joints.
Now, being 11 years old and keep on breaking something or passing out, how were you feeling?
When I was 11, it started with my joints. I didn't start fainting until I was about 17 or 18. With the joints, it was just difficult because at first it was just my kneecap, and then it was my shoulder, and then my other kneecap, and then when it was multiple joints, it became difficult to do everyday things. I would come out of my mom's car and dislocate my knee. I would try to open the refrigerator and dislocate my wrist. And sometimes I just stand up and turn the wrong way and dislocate something. It's very hard to be mindful all the time, and it's just very frustrating because it's like the littlest things you wouldn't think of that would hurt you really badly.
Now, considering that no one knew what was going on with you, did anyone ever think you were faking? Like you were looking for attention?
A lot of people. People in my family,
What would they say to you?
they wouldn't really say anything to me directly, not my family, but you could tell because you go to the doctor and they take an x-ray, my joint would move out of place and then go back, the x-ray looks fine, everything looks fine, and it just seems like highly improbable. Like you would think I was lying before you thought I had some kind of rare disorder. So it felt really terrible because I'm a really bad liar and I'm not known for lying. So the fact that the people closest to me thought I was lying, it's really difficult to process. At one point, I thought maybe I was losing it because why wouldn't the doctors figure out what was wrong by now?
Now, what was this doing to your mental state of mind? I mean, falling down, passing out, breaking your kneecap, breaking other parts of your body, dislocating joints. You're young, you're supposed to be strong, this is your peak of your life, teenage years, you're supposed to be in sports, you're supposed to be dancing. I know your younger sister is a dancer. You're supposed to be doing all these wonderful things as a young, beautiful, growing child, and here you are, quote unquote, handicapped. How did this affect you mentally?
It's very difficult because before I started showing symptoms of EDS, I remember when I was leaving elementary school, I was in 18 extracurricular activities. I liked to do everything. I was also a straight A student. I didn't like to miss school, and I felt like it took a lot of that control away from me. I couldn't do whatever I wanted. A lot of days I couldn't go to school because either I was in too much pain or I was on really heavy painkillers. Sometimes I would dislocate my joints in school and kind of push them back in and try to make it through the day, and my teachers would send me home because they would realize that I was in like excruciating pain. It was very frustrating because I just didn't want it to limit me in any way. I didn't want that taken away from me. I wanted to be able to do whatever I wanted. Yeah.
Were you depressed? Are you depressed?
Maybe I would say in the past maybe 2 or 3 years, it really started getting to me because progressively the condition has gotten worse. It started off with just a few joints, then now it's pretty much all of my joints, my jaw, the discs in my spine, my shoulders, collarbones, my ribs, wrists, fingers, hips, kneecaps, ankles, toes, everything dislocates. I'm in a lot of pain all the time. Then I started fainting all the time because it started to affect my blood pressure and heart rate. And then most recently, I developed gastroparesis, which is the partial paralysis of my stomach muscles. So right now, I can't eat anything without throwing up. I think that was the most difficult thing for me because eating was definitely an emotional crutch for me. Whenever I was in a lot of pain, I would just kind of eat my trouble away. Yeah. It's really bad. So now that even not being able to eat whatever I want, not being able to eat anything.
So Devanni, you can't eat. How are you surviving?
Well, I'm not supposed to eat. I still eat sometimes because I crave food. Your body craves food. But then that leads to, throwing up, my stomach distends and my stomach swells up. It's really painful. when I throw up, I'll dislocate my ribs and it'll be hard to breathe and it gets really bad. It's like a really bad cycle. For now, my doctors have told me to drink a special type of Ensure shake, not even the regular ones. It's a thinner one. Because even the regular
Ensure is something like babies would drink,
yeah.
right?
Okay. Not even the regular ones. Those are too thick. I would still bring them up. I have to drink like thin, clear liquids. And hopefully, as long as I can keep down thin liquids, I'm going to be okay. But if my stomach stops taking that too, I would have to get a feeding tube.
How are you surviving? How are you making it through everyday life? I mean, you're young, you're 21, you're a female. There's so many things that I'm sure you must be thinking that you're looking forward to in life, you know, growing up, dating, going to school, finishing college. How are you surviving with all of these trials and these tribulations and the pressure of everyday life, waking up every morning, not knowing, Devanni, will I be able to stand today? How are you surviving?
I definitely have an amazing support system in my family and my friends. Everyone is just, and my mother, is completely supportive of me. I grew up in a house not only with my mom and my dad, but also all of my uncles and aunts. We all live together, and so we're still really close. They're always there to help out whenever I need help, always keeping me laughing, especially my little sister. She always brings a smile to my face. And even in school, my doctors didn't want to clear me to go to college. It's very frustrating because it was so difficult to finish high school. So when my doctors told me I couldn't go to college, I was like, that's ridiculous. I am going to college. I didn't just graduate high school for nothing.
So where are you going to college now?
I go to Delphi.
Okay. And what year are you in?
I'm in my 3rd year.
And what are you studying?
I'm a biology major on the pre-med track.
Are you looking for a cure, or do you plan to look for a cure for EDS?
Not myself personally, because that would be going into research. I would rather be a doctor just because I feel like I understand what it's like to be a patient all the time. I've come into contact with doctors that were absolutely brilliant, you know, very smart, but they weren't compassionate. They made me very anxious, and I feel like having this chronic illness would help me relate better to a patient and understand what it's like to be on the other side. So I really want to be a doctor, and just having this illness has affected my body in so many different ways, which is obviously terrible, but it has sparked my interest in biology. Like, I think the human body is amazing. The way it reacts and the way it makes up for things is just completely, like, captivating. Like, it's so interesting to me, and I love it.
2 months ago, after my mother's hospitalization, the doctors wanted to put her in hospice. And I'm like, you know, they deemed her terminal. And I saw Mr. Thakur, I think the founder, on TV, and he was advertising this Indian community in Kings Harbor. It's a great Indian community where my mother feels at home, and she expresses her happiness to me whenever I come.
I know when I come, I feel happy. I stay a couple days and I see everybody, and I'm so happy.
I brought my mother here like a month and a half ago, and I haven't regretted my decision. It's one of the best decisions I've made for my mother. It's a home away from home.
It's about giving them opportunities we never had. It's about inspiring. It's about finding the voices of tomorrow.
to ask you this question. Do you ever have thoughts of suicide being in the position that you're in?
I have before, because sometimes, you know, I see all my friends my age and they're driving. I can't drive because I faint all the time. I am behind in school because I've had to take semesters off. I've had to drop classes because I was too sick. It's very frustrating because I feel like I'm not moving forward. Like, I have all these goals and I feel like I have to get everything done because I'm afraid, I have this fear that I'm just going to get worse, and I feel like I have to get everything done before my body gives up on me. It's also very difficult because I feel like I'm an adult now and I feel like a burden on my parents. Even though my mother would probably yell at me for saying that, I can't help but feel that way because, you know, whatever I do, I need help. Sometimes I need help putting on clothes, I need help putting on my shoes. Sometimes my dad needs to carry me, they need to drive me everywhere. I feel like I can't get a job and help out, and my parents, you know, have to pay for school and to pay for everything for me. I feel like I've lost my independence, and I don't like being dependent, and every time I have to see my family sad because I'm sick, it makes me sad because I feel like I'm responsible for their distress, and I feel very guilty. And so there have been times when I've thought, I don't want to do it anymore. I just want to give up. But like I said, my family's always been able to pull me out of that state of mind and give me the drive to keep going.
Is EDS terminal?
Well, EDS itself won't, you know, it's not going to kill me. It's not going to be responsible for my death directly. Okay. It can cause complications and indirectly cause death. It is lifelong, obviously, because there's no cure. But I do follow and keep in touch with a lot of other people across the world with my condition through social media and the Ehlers-Danlos Society. They have a forum for people with my disorder. And it's very sad to see that even though a lot of people don't die from EDS, they die from depression and suicide, and they just can't take it anymore and they give up. You know, you can have heart complications, complications that affect your nervous system, your brain, your spinal cord, and all of these things that can end your life.
Okay. Do you know the number of diagnosed patients with EDS?
Diagnosed, there's not an exact number because some people are diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Some people are diagnosed with similar syndromes. They're misdiagnosed very often, so it's not an accurate number. Around the world, the incidence is about 1 in 5,000. And with my specific type, the hypermobility type, is 1 in 10,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why it took so long for the doctors to diagnose you.
Yep.
Did you have to go and see specialists?
Yes, I have like a list of 30 doctors. I had to see first orthopedics, cardiology, neurology, rheumatology, endocrinology, then genetics, and then within the different specialties, I went to different doctors because some doctors were just like, I have no idea what's wrong with you. So I had to go to many different specialties, doctors all over the place, all over Long Island where I live. And I actually went to the city for a second opinion when one of my orthopedists suggested I started having surgery on my knees to keep them in place. I was a little bit afraid because I was like, you don't know what's wrong with me and you're just going to start doing surgery. And I went to Cornell in the city, and an orthopedic surgeon referred me to a geneticist there who was an elderly woman, and she knew right away what I had. Yeah, she made the call and diagnosed me with Ehlers-Danlos hypermobility.
Now, you're 21.
Yeah.
You're stunning. You're beautiful. You're intelligent. Third year in med school, in Adelphi, studying medicine. Do you see yourself in the future getting married, being in a relationship, having a partner?
Hopefully.
Okay.
It's really hard, especially within, the Guyanese or the Indian community. It's something I've never liked about our community. I mean, I'm very proud of my culture and my heritage, but there are certain things that we still have to fix within our society, and one of those things is how we treat the disabled and the handicapped. Even my family at first, when I was in a wheelchair, they would tell me, you can't go anywhere like that, or you can't go anywhere on crutches, because there's just the stigma.
Why? I don't understand that. Why can't you go someplace if you're in a wheelchair? What are they saying? What are their thoughts?
People just look at you funny, and they're very mean about it. People, I'll tell you.
So you were being told you can't go out in public because you're in a wheelchair?
Yep. Whenever I go anywhere on crutches to a Guyanese function, people are like, oh, why did you come if you're on crutches? I want to be like, I have crutches so I can go places, so I don't have to sit down and stay in the house.
I'm speechless. I can't imagine that someone would have the audacity to say that to you. If you're in a wheelchair, there's a reason why you're in a wheelchair. It's because currently you cannot walk. You're not choosing to be in a wheelchair and say, oh, today I woke up and I decided I'm not going to walk. I'm just going to be in a wheelchair because I want to push around.
It's kind of like people don't want to see that. They don't.
So insensitive.
Yeah.
That is so insensitive. And I'm so sorry that you have to experience that. And for anybody that's watching this today, if you ever see someone that is handicapped, help this person. Don't hurt them. Don't bring them down. Being sick, being ill is not fun. It's not something that someone asks for. It's not something that someone chooses to be. It's unfortunate for them. And if you can't help someone, please don't hinder them. So Devanni, I'm so sorry that you've experienced that. I can't imagine that someone would do that or say that to you. I'm so proud of you. When I see you in crutches, and I think this is probably the first time I haven't seen you in crutches, but I've seen you're walking with a walking stick. I mean, everyone that's watching this right now, you're just seeing Devanni sitting down. But she came into the studios with a walking stick. And whenever I saw you with crutches, I said, wow, this young lady, she's so strong. She's walking around with crutches because, if it was me, I'd probably stay home because I wanted to heal. But you're so strong that you would push yourself to be in crutches. And, congratulations to you for having that strength. And I know a while ago that you were in a wheelchair. I know the Save Abby Foundation were kind enough. They donated that wheelchair for you. And I couldn't imagine what you were going through as a young lady, just hitting, her teen years and having to be in a wheelchair where for so many of your years, you walked. And who would think that a young child not getting into a car accident, not being an old person that, got some sort of bone disease at an older age, okay? You were only 17, you said, when you were diagnosed, to have to walk be in a wheelchair. And it's commendable that you would go out in public. Why shouldn't you enjoy everything else that everybody else is enjoying? You are normal. You're just, right now, you have a disease that we have to bring awareness to and find a cure for it. So I'm very sorry that you're experiencing that. So Devanni, let's talk about this EDS Awareness Month. It's May. It's the month to bring awareness. Thank you for being an Indo-Caribbean child coming on to Let's Talk with Lakshmi to talk and share about your disease, because you know what? There's going to be a lot of other people watching the show today, and they may have a child that's breaking bones or falling down or fainting or can't eat and throwing up, and they're not going to know what's wrong with their child. I mean, the first thing I would think of if my child was eating and then threw up is she anorexic? Is she doing this to herself? You're going to bring awareness to people who's watching this and say, oh my God, my child just fell, her kneecap just, got dislocated. And I just saw DAVANIE Singhroy, and she explained what is EDS. 1 in 10,000 people. Of course, it's not something that many people are aware of.
Elegant Floral Design. We can help you beautify your event. No occasion is too big or too small. We specialize in floral decor and party planning for every event. Please call 718-322-9786. Please use promo code Lakshmi for a discount. Welcome to Platinum Celebrations Incorporation, event planner and on-day coordinators. Formal or casual, large or intimate, held at a private residence, dazzling venue, or the beach. Platinum Celebrations' unparalleled service and attention to details will take your special occasion from the ordinary to the extraordinary. As a full-service event planning company, our service goes beyond design and decor to encompass entertainment, linen and table settings, flower arrangements, party favors, invitations, photography, and so much more. From selecting the perfect site to achieving the perfect mood. We promise to guide you through the planning process from beginning to end, and we are on site throughout the entire event to ensure all of your time and money invested goes according to your liking. Contact Shivi at 347-432-8545 for a free consultation. Remember, Platinum Celebrations is here for your special day.
So I know on Sunday, May 29th, you are collaborating with the Shanti Bhawan Mandir at the Bhuvaneshwar Mandir, and there are other organizations participating as well, like the Marcus Bryan Bisram Foundation, and we are going to be bringing awareness to EDS. What's going to happen that day? What are we doing really?
Well, on that day, firstly, because people are paying to come to the fundraiser, we're going to have a cultural show with singing and performances. More importantly, I'm going to be speaking about my condition, and also we have one of the executives from the Ehlers Danlos Society coming to speak about, ongoing research and the progress they've made. Awareness is as important to me as raising money, if not more important, because growing up with people calling me a liar, doctors not knowing what was wrong with me, was absolutely terrible. I had teachers in high school call me a liar and tell me I was making it up, because some days are better and some days are worse. Some days I'm fine, some days I can't move. So because it was inconsistent, people thought I was lying, and it made me such an anxious person. I went from being outgoing to very, kept to myself, and it was just extremely difficult. And not everyone is as lucky as I am to have a support system, and it can be very, devastating and isolating to not have people believe you. If people understand that there are conditions like EDS where I can look fine on the outside, but I can have all of these disabilities still, then they'll think twice before they judge someone else that looks fine but says that they have, X, Y, and Z condition or problem.
Okay. Well, Devanni, we are going to come out to support you on Sunday, May 29th. Again, that's a collaboration with the Shanti Bhawan Mandir at Bhuvaneshwar Mandir. What time is it?
At 3 p.m.
At 3 p.m. And how much are the tickets?
$10.
Okay, $10. And I'm sure you're going to have the best of the best, the cream of the crop of the Indo-Caribbean community. We're going to come out there. We're going to support you with the Marcus Bryan Bisram Foundation as well. And, from the bottom of my heart, I hope and I pray that they find a cure. And I just want to tell you to keep the strength going, keep the faith going. You have an amazing support system with your mom. I mean, I've had several conversations with your mom. And you guys have so much faith and so much strength. I mean, looking at you here, there's probably so many people watching this episode right now, and they're probably crying. And to think a young, beautiful, strong young lady like yourself, only 21 years old, can sit here with a smile on her face when she's going through so much suffering and so much pain is unbelievable. So I know you're getting your strength from God. I know you're getting your strength from your parents, from the Mandir, from the community and the society. And I just pray that they find a cure soon, because we all want to see you grow up and become a wonderful doctor, a compassionate doctor, to help other patients, to help other children, and find a cure. And we want to see you get married. We want to see you have children. And we just want to see you be happy. Okay? So thank you so much for coming on Let's Talk with Lakshmi. And we'll see you on Sunday.
Yep.
This episode of Let's Talk with Lakshmi was sponsored by the Marcus Bryan Bisram Foundation. Please help spread the awareness of EDS by hitting share on this video. For more information and to donate to EDS, please go to www.ednf.org.